We'll be bringing you the recap of episode 3 of the series Blood Sisters. That's right, the story is heating up and we're gradually counting down to the end. So sit back, relax, and enjoy our recap as the story of Blood Sisters unfolds. See you at the end. This episode begins with Sarah as she awakens from a bad dream involving the burial of Carla's body. Kemi comforts her, telling her that they have a big day ahead. Elsewhere, the actual burial of Carla is in full swing. At the church ceremony, Femi eulogizes Carla and mentions the unavoidable absence of Timei, who he says is at the moment in the UK completing her studies. But at that same time, we see Timei trying to survive as she fights with her mate at the church's rehabilitation center's public shower. Femi calls for support for his grieving mother, who he says could not be there with them because their culture forbids it. Next, we see Uduak land at the airport and head straight to the Inspector General of Police, who she accuses of not doing enough to speedily locate Carla's killers. She hands the IGP a bag of money, after which the officer promises to locate the girls wherever they are. As the burial progresses, Uduak returns from her visit to the police chief and Timei concludes a fight with her mates. As the fight is broken up by the caretakers, she pleads to be allowed to return and say goodbye to her brother one last time at his burial. But the caretaker tells her it's all her fault for choosing to do drugs. At Carla's gravesite, a crying Uduak is consoled by a strange man who tells her he wanted to be there for her and Carla, whom he says was also his son too. She admonishes him to never say that again. She also reminds him that Carla lived and died as an Ademola because he chose his wife and career over her. She then goes ahead to call him Mr. Minister. At their waterside hideout, Sarah puts a call through to home, where her father is having a tantrum over his daughter's disgraceful conduct. As his wife tries to calm him down, no one hears the phone ringing. His fit of rage momentarily results in a stroke, even as the phone continues to ring. Uncle B is on his way to a location. He gets a call from Uduak requesting an update. He tells her he's on his way there and that he trusts his source. In their waterside hideout, Kenny visits the girls. He gives them some money and tells them everything is set with the border people, that soon they will be in another country starting a new life. When Kemi leaves them alone, there is a brief moment of blame, but soon afterwards, he leaves Sarah abruptly to go get their passports, leaving an emotionally forlorn Sarah to ponder her actions and his absence. Alone on a boat on the water, Kemi prepares to make a call as she switches scenes. While at the Ademola home, mourners at the wake spread rumors around Carla's death. Kemi's call reaches Aki. She explains to him what had happened, how Carla had been about to strangle Sarah and why she had to shoot him. Akin tells her that he hopes they catch them, lock them up and throw away the keys. At the girls' hideout, Uncle B finds them. A fight ensues where he beats and overpowers both girls. But Kemi succeeds in knocking him out and takes his gun. She sets fire to the shack as they make their quick escape through the crowded streets. They meet a canoe man who takes them across to the marina, even as Uncle B recovers and is hot on their heels. Elsewhere on his way back, a police checkpoint causes Kenny to throw away the girls' passports to avoid being caught with them. The girls, now stranded with nothing, decide to make their way to Freedom Park, venue of the meeting with Kenny. Meanwhile, after the last mourners have left, and after Uduak rudely dismisses Femi and his wife, she gets a call from Uncle B, who tells her that he lost the girls. Uduak tells him to send his location so she can forward it to the IGP. In anger at the disappearing news, she smashes Carla's memorial shrine. While Uncle B gets himself treated for his burn wounds, Akin reports to the police, where he tells Inspector Joe about the call he received from Kenny and what she had told him about how Carla used to beat up Sarah. Afterwards, Inspector Joe's superior receives a visit from the police hierarchy, who hands him an envelope of money. They tell him they are counting on his cooperation. The girls arrive at their destination, where they are met by a courier who asks them for their passports. they don't have the passports or a phone, he gives them his own phone to call Kenny to bring the passports. Kenny tells them the bad news. The courier then tells them without a passport, they would have been able to bribe immigration. When he asks them for the bribe money, they tell them that they don't have. The courier then gets into the car and angrily zooms off. Right there, they decide to go to Okebun town, Kemi's grandmother's hometown. Meanwhile, Uncle B arrives at Kenny's house and surveys the place. The girls approach the pimp, who drive them to Freedom Park. Kemi holds him up with Uncle B's gun as they hijack his car. The girls then get into a disagreement about why Kemi has a gun and didn't tell Sarah, but eventually they make up and continue their journey. They smile as they discover the pimp's phone. In his office, a fellow officer gives Inspector Joe an envelope from the hotel. Inside is a flash drive. He says he's been waiting for it for a long time. He opens the flash drive and inside is a CCTV video recording showing the assassin. His boss calls for a briefing where he tells everyone that the IGP is interested in Kola's murder's case and that it is to take precedence over any other case that they may have. He tells them that Sarah Duru and Kemi Sawyer are officially the only suspects in the case and that they are wanted dead or alive. He tells his boss about the CCTV footage sent in from the hotel and that in it is an old friend by the name Blade. His boss reiterates that only the girls are suspects in spite of Inspector Joe's protest. As for the girls, their hijacked car breaks down in the middle of a deserted road during the night, leaving them helpless. Aki visits Kola's ex at Pasiama and asks her if Kola was ever violent towards her when they dated. She reacts in fear by telling them that Kola is dead and by asking if Uduak is aware that he's been going around asking these questions. She then asks him to leave her house. At the door, she tells him that she should be speaking to Princess. At a press briefing, the Inspector General of Police tells the public that Kemi and Sarah are the suspects in Kola's death. He tells them that the girls are considered armed and very dangerous. The next morning, having slept in the car overnight, Kemi throws away the gun and she and Sarah begin walking. They are picked up by a Good Samaritan couple in a car. As Inspector Joe knocks on Blade's door, the Good Samaritan tells the girls that he needs to stop over at his place before moving on to Okebun town, which happens to where they are headed. At Blade's home, Inspector Joe questions him about Kola. Blade denies knowing Kola after a picture of the deceased was shown to him. Then the CCTV picture was shown to him as well. Then the inspector accuses Blade of being there to kill Kola, but that after he was found out and kicked out, he came back and finished the job. But Blade tells them he has no evidence. The inspector then promises to return. Their Good Samaritan, the doctor, stops over to pick up some other things. A companion asks Kemi and Sarah to stay the night, eat and rest, and continue the journey the next day. They accept the offer. Inspector Joe goes to see Femi. He shows him the picture of Blade, but Femi insists he doesn't know the man. The inspector then threatens to go see Uduak and Timenyi, but Femi dissuades him, saying that Timenyi is in the UK, while his mother needs to be given a breather for some unpleasant questioning, and that neither one knows the man in the picture. Sarah calls her mother, who apologizes for not taking her daughter's concerns about Kola serious. She tells Sarah to run, saying that she will not lose her. She includes her by telling her daughter that she loves her. Elsewhere, while the Samaritans and the girls have dinner, Kenny leaves his apartment after a call to Sarah, and as he does, Uncle B follows him in the car. Inspector Joe meets up with Akin and questions him. Akin too does not recognize Blade's picture. Akin tells the inspector that Timenyi is the one who would really hang around such a character, and that she's in an extreme Christian rehabilitation center in town and not in the UK. As Uncle B follows Kenny back at the seaside house, the Dr. Samaritan asks Sarah to share a drink with him. As they drink and dance, Sarah suddenly faints. Meanwhile, Kenny is busy in the shower. The doctor grabs an unconscious Sarah and drags her away. Who is this doctor? And why is he kidnapping Sarah? Is he a threat to the girls' freedom? And will Kemi be able to save them both? Or will Uncle B catch up with them, even as the imminent danger looms before them? Find out in the next and concluding episode of Blood Sister right here on this channel. And that's it for today's recap. Stand by on this channel as we'll be doing more recaps of some of the most popular movies making waves in and outside the country. Stay with us with Green Road TV Productions. We invite you to like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more juicy content. Just click on the icon above. It's really easy. See you next time.